Hi everyone, this is Lee Langley. I thought I would put together a quick video to cover some of the things of interest really, and some of the demos that I may do in front of certain customers when showing them log entries and changing URL policies and the importance of SSL interception. What I've got here is 3 machines, a Mac host running a Kali Linux VM attack device, and I've also got a Windows 7 fully patched victim machine. This particular demo will work on Windows 10. Windows 7 happens to be the version that I have. So this particular device is fully up to date. It has Windows Defender active. I'm going to be using some PowerShell attacks, which are typically difficult for traditional endpoint protection to pick up, and indeed the Zscaler service won't identify it as a threat per se. In terms of what we've got going on in this machine, you can see I've got a source IP address of 165.225 onwards. That is the Zscaler enforcement node that I'm going through, and I've got this set up in a particular way that's replicating an IPsec tunnel from a customer's network. So if I just give that a quick refresh, you can see I've got a tunnel all. So we'll dig into the logs, we'll dig into some of the tricks we can do around DNS, URL filtering, and SSL decryption. By way of example as well, we can look at things like the ICAR test virus. So this particular unit doesn't have any SSL decryption enabled at this point. We're going to do 2 attacks, one over port 80 and 1443 SSL. And this, as you can see, if I click on the ICAR test virus, will block the test virus, but if I go to SSL, it's going to go right through my connection and onto the endpoint, and then hopefully, with a little bit of luck, Windows Defender will pick it up. There we go. Look, contains a virus and has been blocked. So it's doing its thing. That's great. We have not noticed that, obviously, with no SSL because we can't see the traffic. So what I'm going to do is I've got some mock emails here. I've got some emails around company expenses on port 80 and 443. For port 80, there's a couple of things that we can do. As you can see, this email it's a poor attempt at trying to lull someone into running a macro-based spreadsheet around expenses, and they're saying, look, if you to enable the tables and calculations, you need to enable the macros when prompted. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to open up Dropbox. Take note that Dropbox itself is a HTTPS based connection, so we're not going to see inside that and block the file there. We don't want to fumble around with the preview, so we're just going to have direct download that to our desktop. And notice at this point, the Windows Defender, nothing has stopped us from downloading this particular XLS file. I'm going to go ahead, open the file, and take a look around. And as you saw before, we were prompted to run macros, and indeed we're going to get a similar message when we open that up. If I scroll at the top, we've got some content that we can view. Enable macros for calculations, so the user is none the wiser, and we're looking through our calculations. What I'm going to then do is hop onto our Kali attack device, and with a bit of luck, we are going to see that dial back coming from the host to our attack agent. Now we've got this particular agent that's connected in, we can go in and see what we can do. So one of the first things I'm going to rename this particular victim to let's call it victim, something like that, and let's go ahead and interact with our victim. And we can ask for it to present some details, such as its IP addressing, the operating system, its username. So that's interesting. We've managed to harbor the username, the operating system. We can potentially look at we've got some process IDs as well that we're running on if we want to migrate to other processes, and all these sorts of good things. We can move around here. So one of the things I want to do is, we've got the username, I want to grab the password and maybe do some lateral movement. So I'm going to go for Mimikatz, and Mimikatz is going to harvest those credentials for me. But however, it seems that this account doesn't have the ability to run that privilege, and the reason for that is the UAC. click here to allow this to run. So one of the things we can do, excuse me, is to tell it to bypass the UAC prompt. It's going to start the job. If we quickly go back to our host, so we're back at our host, and everything looks good. There's no UAC prompt, and everything looks normal. So if we go back to Kali, and it's now telling we've dialed in on a separate channel. So we've got 2 channels now. So if I come back to main, go to agents, you see, you've got 2 agents. I've got our initial victim, and now I've got this little star user, and that means we've basically got administration rights on that machine. So let's rename Y to victim admin, and let's go ahead and interact with that guy. Spell would be good. So we're now on the same machine, but with admin rights. So if I run Mimikatz again, that's going to tell, it's going to spool a script on our victim's machine, and it's going to do harvesting things like golden tickets, Kerberos information, and username and passwords. Hopefully, with a bit of luck, it's going to come back and say job started. There we go. Now this is all taking place theoretically in clear text as PowerShell commands over port 80. We're just going to let that run.